This show is a member of the Planetside Podcast Network. To learn more, go to planetsidepodcasts.com.
Welcome to I Shouldn't Have to Say This, the podcast where we discuss topics we believe requires critical and nuanced thinking. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at saythiscast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at saythiscast, and go to saythiscast.com if you want to hear previous episodes. Hi, party podcast people. Welcome to I Shouldn't Have to Say This. I am Nicole, and I am joined here today by my co-host, Janra.
And we are going to be very specific and talk like white people who pronounce every word.
The whole
like
word, just
this.
like this. Oh, boy.
I've been watching Boondocks again.
Oh, God. Oh, I love the Boondocks. I should rewatch that.
So good.
Anyways, we're recording this Friday, April 16th, and this will release a week after, so most of you who are listening to this at the time of release will know that last week was certainly a really tiring fucking week. There was
Horrifying.
a lot of fucking bullshit going on. Like, in the left, there is a bunch of ridiculous fucking infighting. It started with liberals being like, I think that socialists secretly harbor this secret desire to genocide the rich, and we hate them. Then it went to yet another show of police brutality in Minnesota at the very same time that Derek Chauvin is undergoing trial in Minneapolis, same city, same police brutality. Only this time we get like a delicious lemon twist of a cop who had been on the force for 26 years and was a field trainer who could not tell the difference between her fluorescent yellow taser, which is side holstered, and her gun, which is holstered on the other side of her body and way heavier and not yellow. And so she accidentally, and not a taser. And so importantly, so she pulled that out and shot him. And I'm not really interested in discussing at all whether it was a mistake or not, because I'm not sure which one's worse. Just so everybody knows my take on that.
She got charged with manslaughter too.
Which is the correct charge, probably.
It is. It definitely is.
So So when they arrested her, she was in by midday and out that night. And just so everybody has a point of comparison for this, at the protest that had occurred, I believe the day before, protesters had been held. Or it couldn't have been the day before because the protesters were held for 36 motherfucking hours without bail. Just so everybody is aware of that. That's like that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. That's just a little thing.
Just for specificity.
A nugget.
It was in a suburb of Minneapolis. Different police force. It was Brooklyn Center.
Thank you.
Because anytime, and this is for anybody that wants to go online and try to argue with people or anything, anytime you're not specific and accurate, then the idiots are going to harp on that and just
like it
dash
matters
the whole conversation.
Like it matters. Like exactly. Yeah. Like it means literally nothing, but that's true and important to note. And then at the very same time, Lindsay Ellis, noted film critic and YouTuber, came back to talk about her previous cancellation and to put the cherry on the shit pile that was this week, the footage of the killing of a 13-year-old boy. Adam Toledo was released by the Chicago Police Department, and it was revealed in really obvious form, and I say that from firsthand experience of watching the unvarnished clip, that this shooting was described last week as a armed face-off, and the boy had a gun, but they said, drop the gun and put your hands up. The boy dropped the gun and put his hands up, and 1 second later, he was shot dead. So that was the week. And in the midst of this, I prepared absolutely the fuck nothing for this podcast, and I hope that you will understand why. However, I have a lot to say about literally everything that happened this week, but I wanted to focus on one particular thing because it really bothers the shit out of me, and it hits on a lot of points. So even though there are most definitely more important things to talk about, I'm going to talk about the cancellation of Lindsay Ellis.
You know what? We here, and I shouldn't have to say this, are very into transparency. So when we say something hasn't been prepared, that is just what happened, and this is going to be interesting. I just want to say that as well. Please, Nicole, what would you like to say about Lindsay Ellis? I just watched the video this afternoon.
So we're going to put that video in the show notes because there are a lot of details that I'm not going to say here because that video's long as shit. And honestly, I don't feel like 99% of it deserves all that much attention. Certainly anything that happened before the week of her cancellation. But essentially what you need to know is that the day after the brutal slaying of, I believe, 8 Asian women in Georgia.
Atlanta. Just outside Atlanta.
Just outside of Atlanta, Lindsay Ellis made a tweet, a fairly innocuous tweet that said, I watched Raya and the Last Airbender, dragon, and people who were likely feeling a little bit hyper-vigilant for anti-Asian sentiment, feeling fairly powerless considering what happened not but 24 hours ago, decided that this was not a comparison between the structures of both Avatar: The Last Airbender and Raya and the Last Dragon, which there are places you can go for that comparison. Full disclosure, haven't watched Raya, have zero interest. But people decided that she was saying that they're the same because Asian influence, which was a stretch. And part of the reason why people were extending this viciously uncharitable reading of these tweets was because a few days previous, she had made another tweet about Harriet, the movie, and about how...
That was just a few days before?
I believe so, or maybe the week before, but it was recent.
It was recent, yeah.
And she made a comment about Harriet that was saying, I'm kind of morbidly curious about if there's fanfic between Harriet Tubman and her, like, fanfic, like, white OC that she was in her, like... who was obsessed with her in the movie and was like the focal point of the fucking movie. Also haven't seen that one. Please refer to Lindsay's video. She has. But essentially saying, God, online ships sure do go to some horrific fucking places. I really don't want to know about the fanfic that definitely exists for this like viciously problematic pairing.
I mean, the thing is, there's Rule 34. It does exist. Then there's Rule 35 that she enacted. If it doesn't exist, now it does because you mentioned it.
Yeah, but but the thing is that like both of these things were saying something very specific, and other people read it either in bad faith or good faith, don't really care which, to be perfectly honest, that these statements were A, viciously anti-Black or insensitive, and B, racist towards Asian people. Now, I'm going to leave the the stuff about Asians to the Asian folk because I don't want to get canceled. But I'm gonna speak about the Harriet thing. I do not understand why people were upset at that. Also, just like not to like cite my Asian friend or anything, because but like I literally have been on Twitter and like I've done a little bit of poking around on this because it's a pandorama. And I am in the house, and I've read about 2 Asian people saying, like, I think it was, like, a little bit, like, insensitive or, like, poorly worded or poorly timed, but none of the backlash that, like, came from that is particularly helpful or, like, you know, but the main sentiment was, this movie is a white movie. It was, like, kind of like a white production with a couple of Asian people in non-leadership positions. Weird hill to die on. And also, if you take the tweet as it was intended, which most people read accurately, don't know why people got mad, don't know what she has to apologize. So, well, I'm sure that, and I have seen them, a few Asian people who are like fucked up over it a little bit, or just saying like, this isn't like super good. I think that the general temperature of the room was that like the reaction to it was weird.
Yeah. We had 2 episodes of a cartoon review, like talking about cartoons and representation, and I know multiple times I compared these cartoons to Avatar.
Yeah,
it's just a genre now. It's just the like Avatar clones, or it's just what happens now.
Yeah, and just so everybody fucking knows, because this is a point that I wanted to pull out of the video because it was said before that, and also I think that this is a good point. Other people were making the exact same fucking comparison because it was really, 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 really fucking obvious. Like, just going story beat by story beat. Same shit. It's a different day. So really hard to believe that anybody was making the criticism that this was an unusual comparison to make. Fucking weirdo. Or maybe I wonder why they didn't levy that criticism at the mainstream white male run YouTube channels that are apolitical, and why they did it at Lindsay Ellis. It's a mystery why they didn't come after the white dudes and they came after the queer woman. I don't know. Maybe it was misogyny.
During the video, she like actually like says like she's actually queer, and people have been calling her like a straight white woman.
I knew that but like, listen, I found Lindsay Ellis 2 years ago. Tell me how I knew that she was queer, and all of these weirdos who have been tracking her for years and like secretly grievance collecting knew that she like didn't know that. They did. just so they fucking knew. Anyways,
anyway, this whole thing is just wild. It's just ugh.
This isn't a quote-unquote drama review because honestly, drama feels a little bit too light for the situation. It really was like a protracted harassment campaign that prodded some of the deepest, darkest corners, inner recesses of a woman's trauma. So not going to talk about that part of it, but you know, watch the video. Chances are you'll get something out of it, and then go watch Natalie Wynn, aka ContraPoint's video on the same topic called Cancel. Honestly, Lindsay's is better. So if you gotta watch one, because both of them are like longer than the fucking Iliad. So there. Also watch it on 1.2 or 1.5 speed or 2. I feel like people underuse this feature of YouTube.
Yeah.
So this video released a couple of days ago. And it was a very strange time for me personally, because on one hand, you have these cases of police brutality and people accurately saying, hey, the police system as it exists, it can't exist like that. We need abolition. We need to abolish our carceral mindset. We need to reimagine public safety. We need to reimagine what it means to have a safe society and what accountability looks like. Also, we need to hold the police accountable for anything.
Qualified immunity is stupid.
And at the same time, the very same community of people, or like, you know, there's a Venn diagram and there's significant overlap between or not significant, I guess, because one is far more important and elevated in the media than the other, but like of a certain subsection. So like of terminally online people on the left who engage in breadtube and breadtube related content, like propane related sorry. That group of people who are calling for abolition and also talking about Lindsay Ellis's video. A lot of these people were saying, fuck Lindsay Ellis. I think that she's white womaning. And why did she make such a long video about everything that she's ever done wrong? What a ridiculous waste of time. Too long. Didn't watch. Fuck her. She had two choices. One was to just apologize and come back and eat crow. And the other one was to make this 2-hour video. And that's what she did. And look at this white woman victim complex, and at the same time talking about how we need to abolish our carceral mindset and not shoot at people ever and trust everybody to be a special snowflake who will go along with restorative justice and that this is the correct way to do things. So I got a nuclear take for you people.
Oh, God.
These two thoughts are not fucking compatible.
What?
I know, it's fucking crazy.
I can't believe this.
So I'm going to give you a bullet that you have to bite if you're pro total abolition of the police state, which a lot of these people are, uncritically. And just to say, I'm pro abolition too. But there's some nuance to mine. I think that we do need some sort of prison because I'm not willing to bite this bullet. But if you are for total abolition, you have to accept that sometimes there are going to be some really terrible fucking people who are sadistic motherfuckers who enjoy inflicting pain on others. And they go through a restorative justice process and make amends to the people that they hurt. And then if you're for total abolition, like nowhere to keep these people, they neither are separated from society, nor are they disallowed from participation in society going forward, even if they kill another 50, 60 people.
Some people are monsters. Like that's the thing. Like some people need to be separated from society because either something happened to them, there's something,
or just they were born bad. There are some people who are born fucking wrong.
Some people are just born bad. Yeah, exactly. Like and it's not their fault, but we have to think about, like, sometimes we have to think about the greater good. We don't have to put them in hellholes like American prisons are. You know, but...
And we can certainly reduce the number of people that go wrong by increasing physical and mental health care and using other mechanisms in order to help people be better parents and fuck their children up less. But that's a longer project, so, and not foolproof. Like, maybe it's because I listen to true crime podcasts sometimes, but I just literally know that there are some people out there who, like, have had pretty reasonable, like, everybody would objectively say, like, that's a reasonable childhood. And they take in, like, the smallest bit of rejection. Like, just imagine, like, you know, everybody has faced rejection in their life. So imagine if rather than, like, being sad for a week or a month or a year or whatever the fuck it was, you, like, decided that you're going to rape 22,000 women and then, like, kill some of them and consume their flesh. That, like, those people exist. Just so you know.
Yeah.
And there's, like, nothing that you can do to stop it because, as I said, completely normal childhoods reacting to stimulus that is within the normal bounds of human experience in completely fucked and, like, unpredictable ways, because that just seems to be something that happens from time to time. But The reason why I say this is because it is the same people who mindlessly utter this complete abolition note who are often the most unwilling to be charitable towards the most lukewarm, quote-unquote, infractions of people around.
Yeah.
So that went to a dark place for a second.
I mean, this whole thing is dark because it's. I mean, parts of it are funny, honestly. Like comparing Raya the Last Dragon and Avatar the Last Airbender. Like that's kind of fun, but it's really the what happened after and how deep it went is dark. It's just.
Yeah,
horrifying to think about, like, seriously. Like, a lot of people, and hopefully people listening to this show will watch the video or just listen to us and think, like, this, like, sometimes, like, we've talked about internet blood sport before, and it gets dark, and sometimes it goes on for so long, and, like, days.
Blood sports can be cute, but, like, harassment campaigns that span for like dunking on somebody for a couple of days, but there are like ways that people take it where like they will literally collect grievances against a person for 10 years. Like, on a completely unrelated note, but important, I was watching a little video today talking about a 26-year-old who was writing some pedo fanfic, like just fanfic about like characters that are 13 years old within the show that they're in, but aged up to 18 so they can have them smash or whatever, and then like didn't mention anywhere in the text except for on her profile page that they were of age. So within the canon of the text and the text alone, literal children.
Yep.
And she wrote a 500-page treatise on why another fanfic user was a toxic person because the other person was 13 years old and stumbled upon this not safe for work fanfic and was pissed because the shit wasn't marked not safe for work. That's long ass fucking shit. So like there are levels to this. Dunking on Bean Dad for a couple of weeks, maybe stop. But also funny. 500-page treatise on 13-year-old child and Lindsay Ellis's like public shaming and like bringing up a whole series of shit that's like really fucked up against somebody who has a really solid reputation and track record of fairly decent content with jokes that have aged poorly and also moments of not being able to do or like being insensitive, but you know, addressing most of those instances at the time. So when I see people who are sitting here and telling me, hey, I want police abolition and I want prison abolition and no one should ever have to go through any of that shit. Oh, wait. I already made this fucking point. Fuck y'all. So the other thing that really fucking sucks is that a lot of the people who are responding to the video were responding with that too long, didn't watch, or oh, she's a white woman victim, which is some shit because a bunch of people kept on saying that listen to BIPOC thing as a bludgeon against a queer woman against the wishes of a lot of people from the Asian community, to my understanding. And that fucking sucks because like a lot of like what Lindsay Ellis says, and I think I have unambiguously not seen a single person of color disagree with this, is that a lot of times white people are the most eager to call out racism, not when it would fucking matter to anybody who counts, but only when it's time to take down another white progressive for some perceived infraction. which is exactly what the fuck happened. Just so everybody knows. Just so everybody fucking knows. People of color are humans, just like you, if you're white. And just like you don't like it if people weaponize you as a playing chip in a game that you're not even really involved in, because who the fuck cares about Lindsay Ellis? Like, in the cosmic reality of things, if everybody turned into the same person with the same personality as Lindsay Ellis today from everything that's publicly available, well, it would be a better place. Direct that attention towards somebody who isn't a good person. But, we don't like being used in other people's games. We're human beings who have wishes and thoughts. And whenever you say, well, an Asian person said that you were wrong, so now I'm championing their wishes. It's like, okay, but 10 other people said that it wasn't wrong. But let's say that it was an equal amount of people. One Asian person said this is fucked up, and one Asian person said it isn't. That's 50-50. You don't really get to say listen to people of color, because plenty of people listen to people of color and are still fucking wrong about their opinions on people of color every single fucking day. Candace Owens is a black woman. Do not listen to that fucking bitch about anything she says about black women. Don't do it. Don't do it. Lori Lightfoot, she's a cop. She'll know nothing about being black. Fuck that bitch. The point is that people's identity, A, does not make them an authority on the experience of their group as a aggregate. Number 2, we're not a monolith. You cannot reference black people as a singular group. We disagree on everything. Every group does. Trans people agree on nothing. Gay people agree on nothing. Lesbians, nothing. Italians, nothing. No group of people that we arbitrarily lump together for any sort of stupid fucking reasons agrees on anything regarding their background. Guarantee it, 100%. Just had a very vicious argument with another Jamaican about the best Jamaican beef patties in the world. And they are at the Caribbean American Bakery in Chicago, Illinois. And everybody can go fuck themselves. Fuck a tasty patty. Anyways.
I mean, this actually makes me think about something I can use in these kind of things in the future. Like if I'm talking to someone and I know they're a woman and they're saying like, oh, you should listen to BIPOC, you should listen to these, and this person is horrible. I'm like, how would you feel if a whole bunch of men were just standing around arguing about how people should listen to women without actually including you in the conversation?
Or citing a single woman and every other woman had a dissenting opinion.
Exactly. It's nice to have allies, just
be allies nice when friends. It matters.
It's nice to have friends. Don't be a shitty friend.
Yeah. Allies are nice, but really, allies need to apply their attention to things that actually matter.
Yeah.
Why don't you go after Shane fucking Dawson?
Nobody gives a shit about Raya the Last Dragon.
Nobody gives a fuck about Raya the Last Dragon, and also, really importantly, it's a white production. It's the same thing when people go up for Soul. Oh, God! Lindsay didn't even mention this, but she made a tweet about how she didn't like Soul because she didn't really like how the core conceit of the movie, another movie which I have not seen, makes you need to revere the spirit of the unborn child in a way that makes her, a agnostic person, feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Will you believe that I saw black people saying that this was racist? And it's same thing with Raya. Soul is a Disney movie. Soul was a white story for a white writer that was later said, well, why don't we want to do something black? Why don't we just make this black? And then they made it black-ish. But like, was everybody on the show involved in the show black? No. So it's like, it's very strange to defend this as something of coming from the black community when it has, you know, nearly nothing black in it in the DNA of the film.
Yeah.
Raya is a different situation. Still white writers, white directors. Hard to say that this is like, you know, if this was an indie film from an Asian American production team, really bad comparison to make probably. Like I would probably say that's in poor taste, but this is literally Disney.
Really? I honestly, I would still make the same
I would
comparison.
I would make the same comparison, but I would understand a little bit more why people would feel sensitive about it. But like people taking ownership over white shit that pretends to be people of color shit is something that bothers the fuck out of me. It's like, if you're defending, like, I don't know. I have a good example of this. It's like, I don't know. If you want to die on a hill about like, here's my contribution. I don't go up for Black Panther. I really like the movie and there are a lot of black people involved in it. But at the end of the day, that's Marvel. Marvel's Disney, and most of the people benefiting the most from that film are white. Probably less so than in the case of Soul or Raya, but like that fact remains. And so like when people want me to go up for fucking Black Panther, I'm like, I'm gonna go up for N.K. Jemisin and nobody else. Like, what the fuck? like I have a finite number of hours on this earth with which to do with my time. What I'm not going to do is sit around and defend the merits of white productions feigning blackness with everything that I have in my spirit. And to be perfectly clear, I don't think that Black Panther is a perfect comparison. I think that Black Panther is much more of a black production than like Raya or Soul is. I was just reaching for something that I could remember.
I mean, white people can make good things. White people made Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know, but they approached it with like, you know, the aspects with like respect and everything. But you can't call it like an Asian production, obviously. But like, white people can make good things.
Yeah, I'm not saying
they involve like other. Well, I'm not saying you are, but like a lot of people, they're like I've seen people say like, oh, they should like when Avatar comes up and people are like, oh, the Avatar, you know, like they're just cribbing off of Asian cultures. Like, they made a good thing that touched a lot of people. Like, settle down. You can make things that take inspiration from different cultures. You can make things that take inspiration from different folklore and peoples and everything like that. The main thing is you need to be respectful of that, and you need to not fuck around with it that much.
I think the main frustration for people who are frustrated with Avatar is that it's like literally one of the most like revered and loved Western animations of all time, and like Asian animators and such don't get any play in the fucking West, and yet these people cribbing off of everything Asian were able to get like more success than all of the Asian people living here and trying to fight in the industry combined. But that like does not mean that Raya was like the silver bullet or like their first chance to success. It's like it wasn't, because it wasn't even an Asian thing. Like they haven't even had that opportunity. Get mad at that. There are systems of power that exist in the animation industry. Like, why the fuck did Disney not hire any Asian directors? Get mad at them. Boycott Raya. Don't defend it against like it's not even Raya, it's not even a fucking critique. What? What?
I was like boycotting Raya, like you could do that, but nobody else saw Raya. So
yeah, I mean, like you don't need to boycott Raya. No one was interested, anyways. But like, it shot its own self in the foot by being Avatar clone.
Derivative, yeah,
extremely derivative, and also like I don't know. Bad time to release a film. Kind of unfortunate. I'm sure that's like perfectly fine. I haven't heard anything like really offensive or bad about it.
No, people. I mean, it's fine. Maybe we can watch it at some point, but like it's not mind blowing. You know.
Yeah, it's not like culture. It's not culture changing, but it's like, to defend something against a criticism that wasn't there, because it's not even a criticism. It's like, it's not a criticism to relate one thing to another, particularly when Avatar is considered a really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. Who the fuck would take being compared to Avatar as being like an inherently bad thing? The answer is no one, because it's like one of the most important fucking pieces of animation that exists in the West. It's fucking, basically what I had to say is that it is really fucking weird that there are so many white people involved in this. Please stop using people of color as your fucking bludgeon and then throwing us away when it fucking counts. Like, I feel like there are going to be a lot of protests this week, and I feel like I can look at any given protest and there aren't going to be many white people there. And
Every time you say it cracks me up.
And I feel like a lot of the people who are online aren't gonna be the white motherfuckers who are, white knighting the shit out of hating Lindsay Ellis will not be at those protests, and they will not be joining their local DSA chapter, and they won't be calling on Disney to have more Asian people in positions of power on their next production. They won't be doing any of that shit. They'll be waiting until the next opportunity that they can shit on another white person, and then they'll use us, and then they'll throw us down until the next time they do. If you do this shit, fucking stop. You're irritating. Like, I don't think that people know how fucking annoying it is. It is like
it's exhausting.
It's fucking exhausting. Like,
because we know what's gonna happen, and we know what's gonna happen, and it's just so fucking annoying, and it's so exhausting, and it's just
we're not a monolith.
Okay, you're trying to be a good person, I guess, like, but you're doing it in a stupid, selfish way. Also, this is low hanging fruit, and you're saying do the work to Lindsay Ellis when you're not doing the work yourself.
Yeah, you're not doing the fucking work. It's fucking offensive. And I'm not going to tell you to do any of like the condescending bullshits, but it's like also just like, I don't know. I really wish that white people, like I said this on Twitter the other day, and I say this a lot casually, more in real life than online, because there's very little room for nuance. But frequently I think that white people don't really see black people as being quite the same as they are, like, human-wise, like, emotions-wise. And I think that this extends to all people of color. Like, you look at the way that they treat people of color, and it's very precious. Like, even the most a lot of really well-meaning white people treat
like
black people extremely preciously. Like, really paternalistic, or just in a way that suggests that they think that we're like some sort of monolithic group of people. Like, I don't think that white people think that they agree on anything, and they would be idiots if they think they did, because 50% of white people voted for fucking Donald Trump. Like, that there are divisions within your community. So when they look at black people or any other community, and they're like, this is a homogenous community of black people, it's like, that's not true though, right? Like, just like your communities of white people, we are a arbitrarily thrown together group of people with similar skin tones that you designate us as X, Y, or Z, and you probably couldn't define like our individual groups anyways. And let me tell you, that goes like 5,000 times more for Asians and brown people, to be perfectly fucking obvious, because everybody thinks that, because there are a lot of people walking around in America who think that every single brown person is fucking Mexican, and that every single person from Asia is goddamn Chinese. It's very ugly. These are not monolithic groups, just like white people aren't. You got your Italians with the make of the meatball. You got your Irishmen with their IRA shenanigans. You got the British with their disgusting food and culture. You have
what is with you and British food?
I fucking
lately?
hate British people. Oh my god,
like 2 episodes in a row.
I fucking hate them. I'm on a big fuck the British kick.
Apparently,
yeah,
we should tie it up.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the rant. It's all I had. I hope that you enjoyed the frustration that I feel at this current moment. It is profound.
Evidence-Based Radio, a weekly science and skepticism show from a feminist and socialist perspective. Every week, we explore the interesting and important stories in science with a focus on the positive. Email questions or requests to evidencebaseradio@gmail.com. You can listen online on your favorite podcatcher or at evidencebasederrata.com. Evidence-Based Radio is a member of the Planetside Podcast Network.
Rant is completed. But now we get to talk about much happier things. So happy. Nicole, happy. What is happy with your happy?
I love my dog. I love my dog. That's it. I just love my fucking dog. She's great. I didn't really have anything else to mention this week. It's kind of been like a pit. It's been a pit of like lukewarm and like a whole bunch of really like depressing things. But I mean, one of the things that I really appreciate that I have a dog around, and also like when you feel, oh, actually, I have one. Well, don't cut my dog because she's beautiful and wonderful, and everybody needs to know. Anyways, there's a Twitter account called Cakes with Threatening Auras, and it said, just go with it. And it said, if you ask Subway, we'll make it. If you ask Subway, we'll make it. The reason why I messed that up is because this was a Snapchat, and the Snapchat did not have a comma next to "if you ask," which it should have, but it didn't. And it said, and it is a sub, like a Subway sandwich, long boy, filled with chocolate chip cookies.
I just found it. I don't know how to feel about this.
So Twitter user, friend Trey, that's not spelled right either, said, I am walking 30 minutes to Subway to get this right now. This is not a joke. Then my good friend Piranha Plant went to Subway and he ordered the Subway sub, which they made, and it was filled with chocolate chip cookies, fresh built. And then he ate 75% of it, puked, and walked the hour home. And that is legitimately one of the best things that I've ever seen on the internet. It makes me so happy. It's so fucking weird. Why does Subway make the cookie sandwich? Why do they make that? Why can you walk into a Subway and ask them to put like 9 cookies on a white bread and give it to you? How much does that cost?
I can tell you why.
This absolute king walked an hour down a highway in what looks like rural Midwestern America to do it, to make sure that it wasn't a lie for the community. What a king. And then it was disgusting, but he got it. And he kept us all in the loop. Oh my God, it was only $4 and something cents. That's crazy. That's cheaper than cookies.
Trey live tweeted this whole experience. And I can tell you why, like how this happens. Because I've known people that work at Subway. They don't care. Nobody at Subway cares. They're there to make stupid sandwiches so they can get beer money and rent. That's if someone walks in and says, I want cookies in a bun, they'll be like, whatever, I don't care. And they'll just sell the cookies, whatever.
But it was $4. That's a deal. $4?
Well, I mean, 9 cookies, their cookies are kind of expensive, honestly. For what they are, they're disgusting. But
I mean, I know. What I'm saying is, I think that that's less expensive than if you bought all of the cookies that went into that.
Probably.
That's crazy. That's a deal.
Probably.
If you just don't get the cookies baked and you order a cookie sub, you'll probably get a ton of chocolate chip cookies. That's a catering idea. I'm going to do that. Anyways, before I go to Subway Prison, what's making you happy, Janra?
Jesus Christ, catering idea. Okay, so we have a bird feeder, and my wife has a bird feeder. She put it in the front yard, right in front of the window, so she could sit on the couch and look out and watch all the birds, right? It's nice and weirdly fascinating. Sometimes I sit and just like, there's just birds, but it's like, you just stare at them. It's like, I don't know. So she's been working from home. And like last year, she was like, I want to get a bird feeder with a camera in it so I can watch birds while I work. It was $150 for this little camera that's like basically embedded in this little bird feeder. It's dumb. And I was like, no, that's dumb. It's a waste of money. She's like, oh, okay. And she forgot about it. I thought about it like recently, and I thought like, how can I do this? Because sometimes I like taking weird problems and trying to figure them out. So I got a security camera, like a cheap security camera, right? From like Reolink or something. Hooked it up to our Wi-Fi, and it's a constant stream. I got the information from the camera, threw it in OBS, and then made a YouTube account. I am not sharing this, no, because it's filming our front yard. But if she's at work or away or something, or sometimes I'm like feeling all pent up or something, like having a bad day, I just go to this YouTube channel and just watch these goddamn birds. And honestly, sometimes I turn it on, I'm like, it's so relaxing. So now we have a YouTube channel of like streaming 24/7 our front yard to watch these goddamn birds. That's my thing.
Unbelievably adorable. Oh my God. Wow.
It has night vision too.
I'm very disturbed by how wholesome that is.
Sometimes I get super wholesome. That was like her birthday present.
Oh.
So birthday and anniversary present.
Oh,
like that's it.
So
good for a year.
So yeah,
it's actually pretty interesting.
Can you mention that it was your anniversary?
Yeah, you know what? I can tell the story of our anniversary on a web extra, on a Patreon extra.
Okay. All right then.
It's an interesting story, honestly. So, anyway, bird cam or burb cam, because she says I want to watch my burbs.
They're burbs.
Poggies. So she's an interesting person. So anyway, thanks so much everybody for listening to this really odd episode of I Shouldn't Have to Say This. We put out episodes twice a month, every other week, and you can find them at saythiscast.com or on pretty much any podcast app thing that you can think of. If you want to get in touch with us, you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, there are a few different ways you can do that. There's saythiscast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at saythiscast. DMs are open there. If you want to support the show, there's a few different ways you can do that. You can go to ko-fi.com/saythiscast. Send us some scratch. You can help us out. You can
Some sweet scratch.
You can go to patreon.com/saythiscast. Obvious, like everything Say This Cast. If you go to Patreon, you have different tiers. You can go $1, $5, $10. At $5 and $10, you get some extra stuff. You can hear the show early. Nicole's about to start posting her outlines and information that she collects for $5, and for $10. You get a special role in our Discord. You get access to extra episodes, like I just mentioned, and we will start once we get some more $10 a month patrons. We are going to start doing streams in the Discord, like Q&A streams, where you can watch me edit and create the show. So if you find that interesting, if you would like to support the show on a regular basis, patreon.com/saythiscast. Nicole, where can we find you online?
I'm holding something in, so you're gonna have to let me get this out. This is a privilege for those of you who listen all the way to the end of the podcast.
Nice.
I just looked at a Twitter post of a man who put mustard on his AK-47, and he left it on there for more than 3 hours, and it left a tiger stripe on it. Like, it fucked up the finish and it left a tiger stripe on it.
Did he do that on purpose?
Yes.
Like to mod the gun?
Well, he wanted the cool pattern and also to teach people that food have acids in them. And so that's just something that I see and has penetrated my brain very deep. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Jack-of-3Trades. That's 3 as in the number, or Twitch, where I'll stream someday.
At some point.
Someday at the very same handle. That's Jack-of-3Trades. Don't ask what that means. Anyways, where can I find you, Janra?
We're maniacs right now. Okay, so you can find me online at PressStartLock on Twitter, and on Twitch you can find me at PressStartMorelock. Usually every week I have a political chat, 3 p.m. every Friday. Unfortunately, for the next couple weeks, that is going to be canceled because I have occupational therapy for my thumb on Fridays. That's going to be fun. If you want to get the theme song that you're hearing right now, our theme song is by Mustin. You can go to store.mustenterprises.com. So I Shouldn't Have to Say This is a member of the Planetside Podcast Network. If you want to know more about any of those shows, you can go to planetsidepodcasts.com.
Today I saw a chud saying that Fallout wasn't political, say that
What?
That, listen, we're not dealing with many brain cells here because he didn't know. He said, I don't think that any nuclear bombs have been dropped yet.
No. No.
Literally, yes.
No.
Literally, yes. He didn't know.